Our next guest is a 7-time Pro Bowler. He played in 4 consecutive Super Bowls with the Buffalo Bills. He's a Pro Football Hall of Fame wide receiver, Andre Reed, joining us this morning on the show. And he's coming off the second ever Ugly Sweater golf outing in California, where all benefits go to his Reed 83 Foundation to help support nationwide literacy as part of the Boys and Girls Club. Andre, how you doing? Thanks so much for joining us. How was the event yesterday?
I'm doing great, man. Just detoxing a little bit from yesterday, man. It was a great day and a great day of giving back for sure. You know, kids need so much in this day and age, especially the young kids coming up. And literacy is really an important thing in my book, and it's important all over the country. It's a way that these, especially in economic areas that aren't as good as other areas, and through the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, which I was a club kid for about 10 years, and they put me on the right path to not only be the best athlete I can be, but definitely be the best person I can be. And their values are been going on for over 150 years, and I've adopted them as my, I wouldn't say charity, but it is a thing that I feel I'm so passionate about because they made me who I am today. And they've been a big part of my success on and off the field. And it's only right for me to adopt them as an important part of my life now in my 5th quarter of life, to giving back to kids and telling them how important not only reading is, but the importance of being a great person in this world. And that could get you anywhere you want to go, having confidence in yourself, and people believing in you. And that's, I had that as a young kid. And I just want to portray that to them, that they can be anything they want to be and do anything they want to do in life. And, you know, be that person that they can be proud of. And I'm glad I'm able to be a part of it. And yesterday's golf tournament, the Ugly Sweater golf tournament, and there were some pretty good sweaters out there yesterday, to have my NFL brethren, my Hall of Fame brothers, the community here in San Diego be a part of that, giving back and making a difference.
You know, it's interesting hearing you talk so passionately about literacy, because I think about your former coach, Marv Levy. This was a guy that was well-read. He could cite all types of old war manuals and generals and historical context. He was a really smart, well-read guy. Do you think of Marv when you're stressing literacy to young people?
Let me tell you, Marv, you know, we called it Marvisms. And every Saturday before the game, he told a story or two about something that we would look at each other and say, well, what does this really have to do with the game tomorrow? And as the years and years went on, we realized that Marv had a message. And he would tell a World War II story, a story about MacArthur, a story about, you know, some other general. And it really relied about football. I mean, he talked about football. You know, you have a general. Marv was our general. You had his foot soldiers. You know, the team was the foot soldiers for him. And we thought about it and was like, well, we'll maybe figure this out years and years later. And if you talk to any of the guys, and Steve Tasker and Jim and Thurman and Bruce, Darryl, I mean, I can go on and on. We all realized that Marv's message really had a lot to do with the game, but it had a lot to do with life too. And the big words he used, let's just face it, man, if he didn't know how to read, he couldn't use those big words. And he didn't know what those words meant. His vocabulary was beyond, you know, you had a conversation with Marv. He used some big words, and that vocabulary was outstanding. And some of those words we couldn't understand to a certain point, but we knew after a while what he was trying to convey to us as players.
Andre Reed is our guest this morning here on Sunday Morning Football. You know, it could just be me, but I always felt like your Bills teams were some of the smartest teams in the NFL. I mean, just looking across the roster, really intelligent guys like yourself, Thurman, Bruce Smith, Cornelius Bennett, Steve Tasker, James Lofton. Do you think that's true? Do you think that your Bills teams were some of the smartest teams in the NFL?
Well, you know, they think football players are not too smart, and that's not true. You know, what we did during all those years I was there, especially the Super Bowl years, the one thing we had was togetherness. We had camaraderie. We really relied on each other. We talked about a lot of things, And that really boiled over into Sundays and on the football field. And I think, as the years went on, people look at our team and not only look at the players, the Hall of Famers, the coach, the GM, the owner were Hall of Famers. They realized that there was a reason for that. And it wasn't because, we not only did great on the field, but we had some good people behind us that helped us. And that's what we relied on. And today, when we talk about things and when we do get together, those are the things we really talk about. We talk about the good times. And there weren't such good times. I mean, I don't think too many people go through life without something happening that has really going to test their character about who they are as a person. And a lot of us in our world, in our lives today, use those metaphors, and we use that not only to tell our kids of what we went through and how we, deal with adversity, but to what we're doing in our lives now as far as charities and giving back and doing those kind of things. So it was a life lesson that I'll never forget and that I use today.
I want to go back to a specific game that actually did not count, and this is the 1993 Pro Bowl. I was watching highlights of this game. It's kind of picked up a little viral momentum as one of these kind of underrated games that nobody really knows happened, but when you look back, it was amazing. Such energy, such intensity. You guys were really hitting one another. And Steve Tasker, your teammate, is the MVP. There's real emotion in the game, real drama. Was there a distaste at that time between the NFC and the AFC?
I don't think it was a distaste. I think, they always said the AFC was the finesse league, the finesse conference. The NFC was more the 3 yards in a cloud of dust and more physical. So I think a lot of us, during those years in the Pro Bowl, were trying to, dispel that truth that we were just a finesse conference. And we weren't. And if you looked at those games, those Pro Bowl games, we went out there and played. And you mentioned in today's Pro Bowl, it's not even close to that. Ronnie Lott was here yesterday participating in my charity event. And arguably the greatest defensive back, hardest hitter, whatever you want to say about Ronnie, it's true. I mean, the guy played a game after he cut his finger off at halftime. I mean, really. So we talk about that, and we talk about the times of, the Pro Bowls and how it's played now to when it was played then. And it's not that we had a distaste for each other. We knew that we wanted to play this game because, we might have had that on our back, that we were the finesse league. And it's a lot different, obviously. And, I remember those games because we really went out to play those games. And we really enjoyed playing with the best of the best and competing with the best of the best during that time. And it's not like those guys don't do that now, but the way the league is now as far as safety and all that kind of concerns, these guys just, to a certain point, they just go there, they might as well just have an autograph session for 3 hours. And it's not like that. So, I felt that during those times, football was a different bird back then. And it's obvious that, again, I said that, safety is a real concern. And, we went out there and played our hearts out because even though it was the Pro Bowl, we felt we had to make a statement, not only as a conference or whatever, but as an individual too. We wanted to show that we belong there.
Andre Reed is our guest this morning here on Sunday Morning Football. Let's finally talk about this year's Bills team. Big game against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens today. Is it exciting to have the Bills near the top of the AFC standings this late in the season for the first time since you were playing?
Let me tell you, man, I kind of prophesied this because people said that it's going to be a process, and which it has been. The minute they hired Sean McDermott, I remember we went up there we had a meeting. And actually, Sean McDermott talked to the Bills brass and said, hey, we want to get Bruce and Thurman and Jim and Cornelius, Darryl, Steve Tasker, Thurman. We want to get all these guys back here. And Sean McDermott wants to have a meeting with all these guys and talk about when we played, what was the mindset, how did players deal with each other, all that kind of stuff. And instantly I realized that this coach was really just ready to take this team and take this franchise and try to get back to those days. Whether that's going to happen or not, who knows? But he told me by that meeting that he was 100% all in on getting the Bills back to being the Bills of the olden days during the Super Bowl years. And I think he's on that track. Their quarterback this year is, Josh Allen is a blue-collar guy. He went to Wyoming. He's perfect for Buffalo weather. And he showed me something last year that I said, well, this kid is not only going to be good, but he's going to be the face of this franchise. And he has been a better quarterback this year. He's making better decisions. He's not running as much as he used to. The offensive line's a little bit better. Everything about that team is better than it was a year ago. And they're 9-3 for a reason. And I said this on the NFL Network yesterday, that they look at their soft schedule and say, oh, yeah, it's hard to win a game anywhere, especially in the NFL. It's hard to win a football game, and no matter who you're playing. But having the confidence every time you step on the field, it's that's what Josh Allen brings to that team, and everybody jumps on his back, and that's what we need. This is a quarterback-driven league, straight up. It doesn't matter what you have on defense. That's important because you do have to stop people to score points. But you need that guy behind the center that's going to rally everybody when it's not good, and he's going to be that player that's going to make everybody step your game up when it is good.
Andre Reed joining us this morning, Pro Football Hall of Famer, 7-time Pro Bowler. You played in 4 straight Super Bowls with one of the best teams of that era, the Buffalo Bills. It is so great to have you here on the show. I always enjoy our conversations, and really great stuff with you working with young people as part of literacy across America, which is obviously so important. Thanks so much for doing it with us today, Andre.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on, and I appreciate the love, man, and we're just going to keep on doing it, man. I go 1,000% into things, and this is no different. And, again, yesterday was a great day. We had a lot of support, a lot of Hall of Famers there, and the community really came out here in San Diego, and we're going to continue to do it, man, because it's about making a difference in this world, and that's what I want to do.